The Mishnah in Brachot teaches us that Chatan patur mikriyat Shema b'layla rishon. A Chatan is exempt from Kriyat Shema the night of his wedding. The Mishnah follows this statement with 3 stories about Rabban Gamliel. In each story, he manages to surprise his students by doing something different than what he taught them to do in the Beit Midrash. The first story tells about the wedding night of Rabban Gamliel. The students are all there, and they're all expecting that as Rabban Gamliel taught in the yeshiva, he will not say Kriyat Shema. But the reality was quite different. Maseh Rabban Gamliel shekara b'layla harishon shenasa. Amru lo tamidav lo limadetanu Rabbeinu shechatan patur mikriyat Shema b'layla rishon. But Master, you taught us that a chatan is patur from Kriyat Shema the night of his wedding. Amar lehem eini shomei alechem levatel mimeni malchut shemayim afilu sha'achat. And after them asking a very innocent question, he very sharply retorts, I'm not going to listen to you to mevatel malchut shemayim. There's even a wordplay that they say, aren't you patur from Shema? And he says, I'm not going to shomea lechem. I won't listen to you. I'm going to be listening to God and say Shema Yisrael. And this story is followed by 2 additional stories that the same thing happens. In the following Mishnah, Rachatz b'layla rishon shemet ishto. After, and I hope this was a long time afterwards, when Rabban Gamliel's wife dies, the night afterwards, he washes himself. Amru lo tamidav. Again, the students are surprised. Again, the Rav does differently in life than what he taught them in the Beit Midrash. Lo limadetanu Rabbeinu sha'avel asor l'chutz. Did you not teach us that it's forbidden for a mourner to wash themselves? Amar lehem eini kishar kol adam istinisani. I'm very sensitive. I'm not like regular people. For me, it's permitted. And then we get to the 3rd story. Ukshemet tevi avdo kibel elav tanchumim. He received people being tanchumim, to consolation, after his Eved died. Amru tamidav lo limadetanu Rabbeinu she'ein mekablim tanchumim elavadim. You don't have to do rites of mourning for a slave of yours that dies. Amar lehem ein tavi avdi kishar kol avadim kasher haya. My slave, he's not like the regular slaves. He was kasher. He was a upright person. The appearance of these 3 stories close to the beginning of Masechet Brachot, which is the beginning of the Torah Shebal Peh, is no accident, because these stories are telling us something very significant about the relationship between halacha to life, or the law to life. And the point that these stories are all making, the law does not change. The law is fixed. However, every situation in life is a unique situation, and you have to deeply understand the law to be able to correctly apply the law to the unique real life situation, and not simply formalistically following the letter of the law without being sensitive to the situation at hand. In the first story, Rabban Gamliel said that Chatan is patur from Kriyat Shema, but he didn't say that you're not allowed to say Kriyat Shema. So you had to understand that patur means you're not obligated, but you have the right to say Kriyat Shema if you so choose. And lest one think that Rabbi Gamliel is going to be machmer on himself, and is only. The second story teaches that even Rabban Gamliel themselves will be mekel, will be lenient on themselves if he feels that this is the correct application of the halacha. The halacha is a mourner is forbidden to wash himself. But Rabbi Gamliel realizes that the meaning of this law is that the mourner should not be giving himself pleasure in that fashion. However, the law is not designed to cause somebody pain. And therefore, a person who is called an istinus, a specially sensitive person that by not washing would cause him suffering and pain, for that person it is not forbidden to wash, even though he is a mourner. And the third story is to realize that we don't have rights of mourning for slaves is because by and large the level of morality of the different slaves in that period. However, if a particular slave is somebody who is upright, and then even though he's not a direct relative, but because he is part of our household, it will be appropriate to engage in act of mourning. So this is the Rabban Gamliel, and the very beginning of the Mishnah is teaching us a very important lesson about the very nature of halacha itself. And you know, even nowadays, there's such a proliferation of halachic handbooks, but these can't be in place of morei halacha, people, rabbis with the ability to paskin who could be sensitive to the unique situations. One anecdote I could bring is once there was a bachelor living in our yeshuv that was a relative as he had passed away, and in general his family is all in Chutz La'aretz, so he's in part of the shiva. And on Shabbos the halacha is that you don't do avelis b'farhesia, you don't do rites of mourning publicly. However, nevertheless, it says, the books say you shouldn't eat out of your house because nevertheless still you are in mourning, so you should eat only at home and not be invited out. But the Rav of our Yeshuv paskined that for this person he had to eat out because this person, almost every Shabbos we'd eat out of his house. If he would eat in his house this Shabbos, the Shabbos that he's in mourning, that for him that would be a representation of public mourning, which is forbidden on the Shabbat. So it's not enough to know the law. We have to know how to take the law and put it into life.